So hi everyone, this is Vincent Nyangaresi, and I'm doing a presentation on a paper title is Stochastic Security Ephemeral Generation Protocol for 5G enabled Internet of Things. So my other co-authors are Mustafa, Junjar, and Zaid Amin. So onto our introduction. So to boost secure access to the data held in Internet of Things, many lightweight authentication schemes have been developed using techniques such as symmetric cryptography or hashing operations. So although these schemes achieve some form of security in terms of forward key secrecy and user anonymity, they still have some challenges, including vulnerability to desynchronization attacks. And therefore, many other schemes have been presented in literature to address these security challenge. However, some of these schemes that have been presented still have security issues, or they have performance constraints in terms of the high communication as well as computation costs. So in this paper, a trusted authority based authentication scheme is developed to provide some stochastic generation of the security tokens that are needed to secure the packet exchanges in an IoT environment. So the message source authentication is executed to protect against session hijacking as well as desynchronization attacks. So the security analysis is carried out to show that the proposed protocol offers some key agreement and mutual authentication in addition to preventing attacks such as man in the middle. So lastly, the performance of the proposed protocol is carried out using two metrics, which include the communication and computation costs, which shows that the proposed protocol has the least values of these two metrics among the related schemes. So onto the proposed protocol. So basically, our protocol consists of the system parameter setting phase, and then the authentication and key agreement phases. So during the system parameter setting phase, the generation of security parameters by the TA is carried out, and these security parameters are then assigned to both the gateway node and the sensor node. So it is a four-step process which begins by having the trusted authority TA derive some a secret key pair AI and BI for each of the IoT devices, and then this pair is buffered in the TS memory before being sent to each of these IoT devices. So in step 2, upon receiving this pair, the smart devices generate a random challenge CI at timestamp TI before storing them in its TPDs. And then this one is followed by the generation of another security parameter L1 before composing a message M1 that is then sent together with the registration request to the trusted authority. In step 3, on receipt of this message M1, the TA executes some integrity validation followed by data source authentication on the receipt message. So this is carried out using a parameter L1, which is recomputed at the TA and then compared with the L1 that was received in M1 from the smart device. So provided that the authentication of L1 is successful, the TA derives security parameter L2 before selecting some secret key G that is then used to compute secret parameter L3. So next, it composes the registration response, message, and also message M2. And then the two are also sent back to the smart device through some secure channels. So in step 4, upon receiving this message M2, the smart device rederives security parameter L2, and then the same is done for security parameter L3. Next, the security parameter L3 is validated against the value that was received in message M2. So if the two are similar, then the protocol, or rather the smart device, trusts this message too, else the registration is denied. So during the actual authentication and key agreement phase, the parameters that were assigned to the sensor nodes as well as the gateway node during the parameter setting phase are deployed to verify all the messages that are exchanged among the communicating entities. And upon successful multi-authentication, a session key is established to protect the exchanged packets as explained in step 1 to step 6. So the process begins by having the trusted authority generate some temporary key, K1, followed by the derivation of security parameter Z. Thereafter, these parameters Z is forwarded to the smart device, which is then stored in this memory. So in step 2, the smart device selects some random nonce 1 and generates the message authentication code phi M1. Afterwards, it composes authentication request together with message M3 that are then sent to the gateway node, shown in step 2. In step 3, on receiving this message M3, the gateway node verifies the timestamp in this M3, so that if it is not within the permitted range, then the authentication request is rejected. However, if it is, then the gateway node derives or rederives the temporary key K1 that is then utilized to decrypt security parameter Z to retrieve its parameters, that is P and TE. So this is followed by the validation of parameter TE, so that if it is incorrect, then the authentication session is terminated. However, if it is legitimate, then the gateway node utilizes the obtained parameter P to validate the received message authentication code phi M1. So if this phi M1 is invalid, the gateway node rejects the authentication request from the smart device. Otherwise, it believes that this message authentication code phi M1 is from a legitimate smart device. So in step 4, the gateway node selects some random nonce N2 that is then used to compute message authentication code phi M2. It then updates the secret key shown in step 4 before composing the authentication response together with message M4 that are then sent over to the smart device. So on receiving this message M4 at the smart device, freshness check is carried out on this message using timestamp T2 that is contained in this M4. So if this timestamp is invalid, the authentication session is terminated. However, if it is valid, then the protocol proceeds to confirm whether this authentication message code phi M2 contained in M4 is legitimate or not. So on condition that the verification of this timestamp T2 and the message authentication code phi M2 flops, then the session is rejected. Otherwise, the smart device proceeds to compute secret parameter PIM before deriving message authentication code phi M3. Thereafter, it composes a message M5 that are then delivered to the gateway node. Finally, in step 6, after getting this message authentication code phi M3, the gateway node validates it, so that if the verification is unsuccessful, then the session is terminated. Otherwise, the gateway node trusts the smart device, and therefore a new secret key is shared between the gateway node and the IoT smart device. So onto the security evaluation. So in this section, we used a number of attack models to evaluate the resilience of the proposed protocol. So we start off with the man in the middle, where an assumption is made that an attacker is interested in deriving the new session key. So to accomplish this, he has to eavesdrop some public parameters that are exchanged over the wireless channels. However, we note that the generation of this secret key P requires some secret parameter P, which is only obtained after every successful multi-authentication. Therefore, without proper authentication to the gateway node or the smart device, this attack is invisible. And next, we also assume that an attacker is interested in deriving the valid message authentication code, that is FIM1, FIM2, or FIM3, that may be utilized to fool any of the network entities. However, we note that the derivation of any of these message authentication codes requires a secret P, which we have seen is only obtained upon successful mutual authentication to each of these entities. And with regard to mutual authentication, so in the proposed protocol, the smart device and the gateway node authenticate one another before the establishment of the session key between them. So in this essence, the gateway node authenticates the smart device by checking whether the received message authentication code FIM1 is valid or not. So it is only the legitimate smart device that can derive the secret key that is needed to derive any valid message authentication code FIM1. So on the other hand, to authenticate the gateway node, the smart device confirms whether the received message authentication code FIM2 is valid. So here it is only the legitimate gateway node that can derive the temporary key K1 that is used to decrypt parameter Z to obtain a secret key P. Therefore, there is strong mutual authentication between these two communicating entities. So with regard to eavesdropping attacks, the proposed protocol, the gateway node encrypts and encapsulates the secret key P in parameter Z using encryption key K1. Therefore, even if an attacker intercepts the authentication token Z over the communication channels, this secret key cannot be derived using this temporary key K1 because it is unknown. So in addition, the sensitive protection encryption keys are never sent over the transmission channels, and therefore an adversary cannot eavesdrop these keys and consequently cannot access the sensitive messages being transmitted between these two communicating entities. Next, we also show that the session key agreement is set up between the smart device and the gateway node. So these session keys derive from the secret parameter P, as we have seen, and random parameters N1 and N2, which are dynamically derived at the smart device and the gateway node, respectively. Here, it is only the legitimate smart device that has knowledge of the secret key P. Now, similarly, it's only the legitimate gateway node that can compute a temporary security parameter K1, which is required to retrieve a secret key P through the decryption of parameter Z. And therefore, an adversary is unable to derive these stochastic ephemeral keying materials, and hence cannot derive the session key between the SD and the gateway node. Then with regard to packet replays, an assumption is made that an attacker attempts to intercept the messages exchanged between the gateway node and the smart device, and therefore, and thereafter, some bogus messages are constructed to fool the network entities. However, in our protocol, the timestamps are deployed to carry out freshness checks of all the received messages. And therefore, any bogus message that has been intercepted and modified and replayed will be easily detected because of the elongated transmission delays. And then again, because the timestamps in our protocol are hashed to obtain the message authentication codes, FIM1, FIM2, and FIM3, they cannot be modified and substituted the bogus ones. And therefore, the recruit packets are easily detected through the verification of these message authentication codes, as we have seen, coupled with some freshness checks. So table 3 gives a comparison of the security features provided by the proposed scheme together with other parameters or other protocols. So from this table, you can see that the proposed protocol had majority of the security parameters compared with the other schemes. So in terms of the communication costs, so we used the number of bits that are exchanged during the authentication and key agreement phase. And based on this figure, you can see that the scheme in reference 39 had the highest communication costs, while the proposed protocol had the least communication costs. So with regard to the execution time, again, you can see that the scheme in reference 48 had the highest communication time of 51.99 milliseconds, while the proposed scheme had the least execution time of 0.2634 milliseconds. So in conclusion, IoT devices have become ubiquitous. They have been applied virtually in every aspect of our life to make our life convenient. But we know that there is a lot of sensitive data that is being transmitted in these networks, and therefore they need to protect their privacy and security. So to achieve that, a number of schemes have been developed, but which we have noted that have either performance or security loopholes. So we have presented a paper on a protocol that has been shown to have salient security features, and then at the lowest communication as well as computation costs. So that marks the end of our presentation. Thanks for listening to us. If there is any question, feel most welcome to ask. Thank you.